Hello everyone. So in last lecture we have discussed about action potential. In today's lecture we are going to discuss about properties of action potential. So the first property of action potential, it propagates. So simply action potential, it is propagated without decrement in both direction till the end of membrane. Suppose in axon, at the beginning, that is axon hillock, there is development of action potential, so it will propagate, that means it will move till the end of axon without decreasing its strength, that is known as propagation. Second is action potential, it shows accommodation. Next is action potential, it obeys all or none law. Along with that, action potential, it shows latent period, absolute and relative refractory period. So these are all properties of action potential. Let's discuss these one by one. So first property we are going to discuss is propagation of action potential. Now just for explaining purpose of you, over here I am going to discuss the development of action potential in the center of nerve fiber. So let's start with all these images. First, image number A. All these are images of nerve fiber. Let's start with first, that is image number A. Over here it is in resting condition. So inside there is resting membrane potential which is negative as compared to outer side. Now what happens? In image B, we are going to give threshold level stimulus in the center of nerve fiber. So what will happen? That will cause development of action potential in the center. Means inside of this nerve it is going to be positive, that is up to plus 35 millivolt as compared to outside. So that is action potential developed at one place. Now what will happen, that as soon as there is development of action potential, there is depolarization inside of this nerve fiber. So it will lead to opening of voltage gated sodium channels just beside in cell membrane. Okay, one more time, as soon at all the length of this nerve fiber there are voltage gated sodium channels, sodium potassium channels, sodium potassium ATPase pump, all these are present. So what happens, that as soon as there is development of action potential, it leads to opening of neighborhood voltage gated sodium channels, and that will lead to influx of sodium in neighborhood area. So that will again lead to development of action potential, and again once this action potential is developed in neighborhood area, it will causes opening of voltage gated in near to that area voltage gated sodium channels, and again there will be development of action potential in that area. So this thing, this cycle, it will keep on repeating till this action potential it reaches to the end of that particular nerve fiber, that you can see in image C, that it is propagating, neighborhood channels are opening and action potential is being developed. And in the image D, you can see it has traveled all the way through the entire length of nerve fiber. So this property of moving action potential from one place to another, it is known as action potential. One important thing in propagation of action potential, that once it is developed, it will travel through all the way till it reaches the end. It will not happen that it will decrease or die in between or on the way. It is not like that. It will propagate till the end of that nerve or muscle. Next property is all or none law or all or none principle. As the name itself suggests, all or none, that means action potential will develop fully or not at all. So what happens, that throughout the depolarization the sodium ion it continues to rush inside the cell until the action potential it reaches its peak, and then sodium gets closed. Now in order to develop action potential, first the depolarization it has to reach its threshold level, that is around -55 millivolt. So what happens means, once if you give stimulus and it is strong enough, that is threshold level, if it reaches at -55 level or threshold level, then there will be development of action potential that is at all the way up to +35 millivolt. And it is not like that once the threshold level is reached it will just reach +10 millivolt or +20 millivolt. It is not like that. Once the threshold level is reached, action potential will reach at its peak, and if the threshold level is not reached, that means initially stimulus is not strong enough and the inside potential it becomes just -65 millivolt or -70 millivolt, then there will be no development of action potential at all. Okay, so that is known as all or none principle. What it means, one more time, if the threshold level of voltage is reached, then the action potential will develop all the way to its peak, and if the threshold level is not reached, then there will be no development of action potential at all. So for action potential there is no midway, either it is all or either it is none. Next property of action potential is refractory period. So the refractory period is time interval during which if we give second stimulus there will be no response or there will be no development of action potential. Means once we give first stimulus, after that there is time interval. Even if we give second stimulus there will be no refractory period, but once that time interval is over, then we give second threshold level stimulus, then there will be development of action potential. So this refractory period it is of two types: absolute refractory period and relative refractory period. First, absolute refractory period. As the absolute terms itself is there in definition, what it means is that during this time interval, whatever strong stimulus above threshold level we give to the nerve or muscle, there will be no development of second action potential. So it is known as absolute refractory period. Over here what has happened, that once the sodium channels are inactivated at the peak of action potential, then it takes some time for the sodium channel to again reactivates, and during this time no matter what stimulus is applied, they will not reopen to allow sodium ion influx and depolarize the membrane to the threshold of an action potential. Okay, so during absolute refractory period there will be no development of action potential whatever strong stimulus we provide to the nerve or muscle. Now next is relative refractory period. Now this is relative, that means it will causes development of action potential if the strong stimulus is very strong. So over here what has happened, that some of the sodium channels they will reopen, but over here the threshold it is slightly higher than the normal because it is more difficult to activate this sodium channel than earlier condition. So during relative refractory period, if the stimulus is stronger than threshold, then there will be development of second action potential. Now if you want to correlate this absolute refractory period and relative refractory period with the graph of action potential, then over here you can see for the full depolarization and half of the repolarization there is absolute refractory period. What it means is during this time if we give second stimulus, then whatever the strength of that stimulus, there will be no development of second action potential, and during second half of repolarization to the rest part of action potential. If we give strong enough stimulus, then there will be development of action potential. So it is known as relative refractory period. So one more time, for full of the depolarization phase and half of the repolarization phase, there is absolute refractory period, and for half of the repolarization phase and rest phase of hyperpolarization, there is relative refractory period. So now coming to the what are the benefits of this refractory period. So it will give the nerve and muscle enough time to recover or to rest. Every time when we there is development of action potential, it utilizes energy, it creates some cycle that needs to reset, and as well as they need to take a rest. So this absolute and relative refractory period ensures that they get enough time to recover. As well as, suppose let me, as I have given example you of propagation, that when action potential develop, it can move in either direction. So suppose it develops at the first segment or at axon hillock and it travels to the end of nerve. If there is no refractory period, what will happen? Again it will start traveling backwards. As soon as it has reached at the end, again there are sodium channels in neighborhood, so it will start in reverse direction and it will keep on happening. Okay, but because of this refractory period, once the action potential it reaches its end, it will not travel back, but it will end rather over there. So that is, these are few benefits of refractory period. Next property of action potential is accommodation. This terminology simply means that adjusting to the circumstances, or like getting used to the condition providing to you. Okay, so what happens in accommodation of action potential is that once you give stimulus strong enough to develop threshold level, then there will be action potential. But if you continuously give very small amount of stimulus, suppose you keep on giving stimulus that will open the sodium channel, ligand gated or mechanical gated, and it will take the membrane potential to around minus 60 millivolt. Of course, it is not taking to the firing level, but continuously it is keeping it at minus 60 level. Or suppose slowly you are taking it to the near to the threshold level, so around minus 55 millivolt. So for the first time there will be development of action potential. Again for the minus 55, for second time again there will be development of action potential. Okay, so it will happen for some time, but after some time, if you keep on giving that amount of stimulus and you keep it at minus 55 level, which is threshold level, but after some time you will not get the response at minus 55 millivolt, and that is known as accommodation. Now you will get the response around minus 50 or minus 45 millivolt, whatever the new set level or new firing level is. Okay, so one more time, accommodation is if you keep on giving stimulus for a longer time, then the firing or threshold level of that particular nerve or muscle will change, and that new value will be set, and it is known as accommodation. Now coming to the recording of action potential, for that we usually utilize is cathode ray oscilloscope. Over here what is happening, that we use two electrodes, one is indifferent electrode and one is exploring electrode. One we keep inside the cell and one we keep outside the cell, and then we give stimulus to the nerve or muscle, whatever we are recording, and as soon as there is development of action potential, it will be recorded by this cathode ray oscilloscope. Over here in this figure you can see the recording of action potential. It is known as it is also known as monophasic action potential. There is one more way of recording of this action potential. It is known as biphasic action potential. what happens in biphasic is over there we utilizes both the electrodes in extracellular fluid, and both the electrodes are used for recording, and both the electrodes are of opposite polarity. So it will give upwards as well as downward deflection of this action potential, but we are not going into much detail of biphasic action potential. Now we have seen action potential, that we give threshold level stimulus, action potential will develop. But what will happen if we give sub threshold level or below threshold level stimulus? There will be development of local potential. Of course there will be change in resting membrane potential, but it will not develop action potential, but the change in the resting membrane potential is known as local potential. So we are going to see the difference between local potential and action potential. So first, a stimulus or the below threshold level stimulus, it produces local potential by changing the permeability of cell membrane. But when this local potential or the stimulus is of threshold level, this local potential, it will reach firing level and it will lead to development of action potential. The local potential, it is non-propagated and graded to the stimulus. What it means is local potential will only develop at one place and it will die over there, and it will be graded. Means if the stimulus is very weak, then weak response will be there. Suppose minus 90 millivolt is resting membrane potential and some amount of stimulus is given, then it will move from minus 90 to minus 85 millivolt. If the stimulus is little bit stronger, then it will go to minus 80 millivolt. If again it is stronger, it will go to minus 75, minus 65, like that. So it is known as graded response and it relies on the strength of stimulus, while in case of action potential, it is propagated to the end of membrane and it is not graded. What it means, if the strength of stimulus reaches the threshold level, then there will be development of action potential to its full value. In case of local potential, it will not show accommodation, but in case of action potential, it will show accommodation. In case of action potential, it does not follow all or none law. In case of action potential, it obeys all or none law. In case of local potential, it does not show a refractory period, but in case of action potential, it shows both absolute and relative refractory period. Some examples of local potential are receptor potential, excitatory postsynaptic potential, end plate potential, like that. So that is main difference between local potential and action potential. Now the action potential, it is different in different excitable tissue. It will be different in neuron, in skeletal muscle, in cardiac muscle, in smooth muscle. So in this graph, I have compared three different action potential. First one is of motor neuron. If you see its duration, it is around 2 milliseconds only. Next is action potential in skeletal muscle. Its duration is around 5 milliseconds. While in case of cardiac muscle, particularly in ventricle, you can see its duration is around 300 milliseconds, which means the action potential in cardiac muscle, particularly in ventricle, is very long. Of course, it has its own benefit, but that we will discuss in cardiovascular system. So with this, we finish our today's lecture. Now time to summarize. ઓકે, તો આજનું લેક્ચર આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં સમરાઇઝ કરી લઈએ. આજે આપણે ડિસ્કસ કરી કેરેક્ટરિસ્ટિક અથવા તો પ્રોપર્ટીઝ ઓફ એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ. તો ફર્સ્ટ પ્રોપર્ટી હતી કે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ઇઝ પ્રોપોગેટેડ. મતલબ શું થાય કે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ થશે એકવાર નર્વ અથવા મસલમાં, ત્યાર પછી એની જે આખી લેન્થ હશે ને ત્યાં સુધી એનું ટ્રાન્સમિશન થશે. કે ભાઈ નર્વની શરૂઆતમાં થયું એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલનું ડેવલપમેન્ટ, તો એ એન્ડ સુધી મૂવ થશે અને એને કહેવાશે પ્રોપોગેશન. પ્રોપોગેશનનું રીઝન શું છે કે ભાઈ એક જગ્યાએ તમારું સેલ મેમ્બ્રેનની અંદર નર્વ અથવા મસલના કોઈ પણના એક જગ્યાએ આપણે થ્રેશોલ્ડ લેવલનો સ્ટિમ્યુલસ આપ્યો અને ત્યાં એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ થયો. એટલે આ જે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ થયોનો જે વોલ્ટેજનો જે ચેન્જ છે એના લીધે એના નેબરહુડ એરિયામાં પણ જે વોલ્ટેજ ગેટેડ સોડિયમ ચેનલ છે ઓપન થઈ જશે અને એના લીધે ડેવલપ થશે ત્યાં એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ. અગેન એની બાજુમાં જે એરિયા છે ત્યાંની જે વોલ્ટેજ ગેટેડ સોડિયમ ચેનલ છે એ ઓપન થઈ જશે. અગેન એના લીધે ડેવલપ થશે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ. અગેન આ એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ થયો એટલે એના જે નેબરહુડ એરિયામાં વોલ્ટેજ ગેટેડ સોડિયમ ચેનલ છે એ ઓપન થઈ જશે. અગેન ડેવલપ થશે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ અને આ રીતે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ એ પર્ટિક્યુલર સ્ટ્રક્ચર નર્વ અથવા મસલ એના એન્ડ સુધી ટ્રાન્સમિટ થઈ જશે અને એને કહેવાશે પ્રોપોગેશન. અને એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલમાં ધ્યાન રાખો કે જે ફર્સ્ટ એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ આમાં ડેવલપ થયો એ જ સ્ટ્રેન્થ સુધી લાસ્ટ સુધી એ પર્ટિક્યુલર સ્ટ્રક્ચરમાં ડેવલપ થશે. એવું નહીં થાય કે નવના કોઈ એક પર્ટિક્યુલર નવના એક પાર્ટમાં વધારે થયો એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ સ્ટ્રેન્થ બીજા પાર્ટમાં ઓછી થઈ, એવું નહીં થાય. એ આખા એક સ્ટ્રક્ચરની અંદર સેમ હશે. ઓફકોર્સ સ્ટ્રક્ચર અલગ હશે તો એની વેલ્યુ અલગ હોઈ શકે, નવમાં અલગ હોઈ શકે, સ્કેલેટલ મસલમાં અલગ હોઈ શકે અને કાર્ડિયાક મસલમાં અલગ હોઈ શકે, પણ એક પર્ટિક્યુલર જે યુનિટ હશે તો એની અંદર એ સિમિલર હશે. ત્યાર પછી જે નેક્સ્ટ જે છે સમરી નેક્સ્ટ જે કેરેક્ટરિસ્ટિક છે એ છે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ઓલ ઓર નન લોને ફોલો કરે છે. મતલબ શું થયો કે ભાઈ એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ક્યાં તો ડેવલપ થશે તો ફૂલ ડેવલપ થશે +35 મિલીવોલ્ટ સુધી, અથવા તો બિલકુલ ડેવલપ નહીં થાય. એવું નહીં થાય કે અડધે જઈને +10 મિલીવોલ્ટ કે +20 મિલીવોલ્ટ પર અટકી જશે. ઓકે, વન મોર ટાઈમ. એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ જો થ્રેશોલ્ડ લેવલનો સ્ટિમ્યુલસ મળ્યો તો ફૂલ ડેવલપ થશે, પણ જો થ્રેશોલ્ડ લેવલનો સ્ટિમ્યુલસ ના મળ્યો તો બિલકુલ ડેવલપ નહીં થાય. એને કહેવાશે ઓલ ઓર નન લો. નેક્સ્ટ થયું કે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલમાં રિફ્રેક્ટરી પીરિયડ જોવા મળશે. મતલબ શું થયું કે ભાઈ એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલને એકવાર તમે કોઈ એક પર્ટિક્યુલર સ્ટ્રક્ચરને એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ સ્ટિમ્યુલસ આપ્યું અને એની અંદર એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ થયો, ત્યાર પછી અમુક પર્ટિક્યુલર એવો ટાઈમ હશે કે જેમાં તમે બીજો સ્ટિમ્યુલસ આપશો તો પણ એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ નહીં થાય અને એને કહેવાશે રિફ્રેક્ટરી પીરિયડ. રિફ્રેક્ટરી પીરિયડ બે ટાઈપના હોય છે, એબ્સોલ્યુટ અને રિલેટિવ. એબ્સોલ્યુટની અંદર શું થશે કે તમે સેકન્ડ સ્ટિમ્યુલસ ગમે એટલો સ્ટ્રોંગ આપશો, એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ નહીં થાય. એનું કારણ એ છે કે જે સોડિયમ ચેનલ ઇનએક્ટિવેટ થઈ છે એને એક્ટિવેટ થવામાં થોડો ટાઈમ લાગશે. જ્યારે રિલેટિવ રિફ્રેક્ટરી પીરિયડની અંદર શું થશે કે અમુક જે સોડિયમ ચેનલ હશે ફરીથી રીએક્ટિવેટ થઈ ગઈ હશે અને એના લીધે જો સ્ટિમ્યુલસ પહેલાં કરતાં આપણે વધારે સ્ટ્રોંગ આપીશું તો એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ થશે. ત્યાર પછી જે નેક્સ્ટ પ્રોપર્ટી છે એ છે એકોમોડેશન. એનો મતલબ શું થયો કે ભાઈ અર્લિયર માનો કે -55 મિલીવોલ્ટ ફાયરિંગ લેવલ છે, એટલે તમે ફર્સ્ટ સ્ટિમ્યુલસ આપશો, એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ થયો, બીજો સ્ટિમ્યુલસ આપશો, એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ થયો. આ થોડી વાર સુધી ચાલશે, પણ તમે એને કન્ટિન્યુઅસલી એ જગ્યાએ સ્ટિમ્યુલસ એટલો આપી જ રાખશો કે -55 મિલીવોલ્ટ પર પહોંચી જ રહે, તો થોડી વાર પછી શું થશે કે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ ડેવલપ થવાનું બંધ થઈ જશે -55 મિલીવોલ્ટના લેવલે, અને તેના બદલે એ ડેવલપ થશે એક નવા કોઈ લેવલે. આ નવું લેવલ ક્યાં તો -50 મિલીવોલ્ટ પણ હોઈ શકે, ક્યાં તો -45 મિલીવોલ્ટ પણ હોઈ શકે, ડિપેન્ડ્સ. પણ એનું હવે જે થ્રેશોલ્ડ લેવલ છે -55 મિલીવોલ્ટ નથી. મતલબ કે એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલ એના નવી જે સરાઉન્ડિંગ છે, જે નવી કન્ડિશન છે એને યુઝ ટુ થઈ ગયો અને એને કહેવાશે એકોમોડેશન. તો આ બધી પ્રોપર્ટીઝ થઈ એક્શન પોટેન્શિયલની. So with this we finish our today's lecture. Thank you very much.